Hello all, welcome to Brilliant Botany by Chetana. So if you are very new to this video, please do subscribe to my channel. Now let's start the video. So till now we have studied about the different characteristic features of algae. Okay, so now it's time to know the economic importance of algae. Okay. Algae is used in many different fields because of its importance. Understood? So the very first thing is that you know that algae, the nutrition of algae is purely autotrophic. So autotrophic means we have two types of autotrophic nutrition. One is photosynthetic, another one is chemosynthetic. Algae purely synthesizes its food by photosynthetic mean of nutrition. Understood? So for the purpose of photosynthesis, they have to utilize carbon dioxide, you know that, and by the end of the photosynthesis, they are going to release oxygen. So for the purpose of carbon dioxide, that means to start with the photosynthesis, they want carbon dioxide. They are going to take this carbon dioxide molecules from the atmosphere. So by the process of photosynthesis, the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere can be reduced. Understood? So that is the half of the total carbon dioxide fixation takes place by algae. Understood? So the carbon dioxide fixation for the purpose of photosynthesis is done by algae. So thereby we can reduce the concentration of carbon dioxide concentration. Clear? And the next use of algae is that being photosynthetic, they are going to increase the concentration of oxygen. You know that at the end of the photosynthesis or at the end of the photosynthetic reaction, carbon dioxide which is utilized by this algae will be converted into glucose, water and oxygen molecules. So these oxygen is released into the atmosphere. So thereby the dissolved oxygen concentration in the atmosphere will increases. So that is what we need. So we need more concentration of oxygen and a less concentration of carbon dioxide. So in the atmosphere, the dissolved concentration of oxygen can be increased by this algae. Okay. Next importance of algae is that they are the primary producers of energy. Hope you remember the food chain. Okay. So food chain, especially the herbivorous animals are going to depend upon the plants. Right. And these herbivorous animals are again eaten by carnivorous animals. If carnivorous animals are getting energy means, so from where they are getting energy? That from herbivore animals. Correct? So herbivores are getting energy from plants. So algae comes under plant kingdom, so that we can say algae is the primary producer of energy. Clear? And the next one is, so this is most important thing, like 70% of marine algae is used for the purpose of food. You know that usually we use freshwater forms of algae for the purpose of food. But here, remember, due to that importance of algae, due to the more and more nutritions in algae, we are using about 70 different species of marine algae for the purpose of food. So that is most important. And the next one is again the marine algae, which is brown algae, and another one is red algae. So these are the two different forms of algae. Actually, we have three different forms of algae based upon their pigments. One is green algae, red algae and brown algae. Right? So here the brown algae and red algae, especially which are marine forms, so those algae produces hydrocolloids. Understood? So these hydrocolloids are used in the jelly preparations. That means you don't know about hydrocolloids, correct? So what are these hydrocolloids? They are nothing but, see, when this brown algae and as well as red algae, I told you they are going to have hydrocolloids. Especially, I am going to write examples here. Algin and carrageen. Okay, so algin is a brown algae, whereas carrageen is a red algae. Okay, so we are using this algin and carrageen for the jelly preparation. Why? Because they have hydrocolloids in them. What are these hydrocolloids? See, due to the presence of these hydrocolloids in algae, especially this algin and as well as carrageen, when you put this algin and carrageen inside the water, what happens? Its size is going to be doubled. How? It is going to absorb the water content. Understood? So soon after it absorbs the water, its size is going to be doubled. And that's how we are using this algin and as well as carrageen for the purpose of jelly preparations. So you have to remember these two examples. It is most important. Next is agar. See here, agar is a substance which is obtained from algae called as Gelidium and Gracilaria. Okay, so these are the two examples that I have given. One is Gelidium, another one is Gracilaria. See, these two algae are going to produce a substance called as agar substance. Clear? So this agar is used in many of the tissue culture labs for the production of microbes, and also this agar is used for the jelly preparations and as well as for the ice cream preparations. You have to understand it clearly. Agar is a substance which is obtained from algae called as Gelidium and Gracilaria. Clear to you? And this agar is used for the microbial growth in the tissue culture labs, and also we are using this agar for the ice cream preparations and as well as for the jelly preparations. Next is chlorella. So chlorella is an unicellular algae. Okay, it has more protein content inside, so we can use this chlorella as food. And also this chlorella is used mainly by space travelers. Got it? So these are all the economic importance of algae, which is very much important. One is they are helping in the carbon dioxide fixation. They are helping in the increase of the concentration of oxygen, that is dissolved oxygen in the atmosphere. They act as the primary producers of energy. Next is that especially the 70 species of marine algae is used as food. Okay, and the marine brown algae and as well as red algae. For example, for marine brown algae is algin. Example for marine red algae is carrageen. So these two algae is used for the preparation of jellies. Why? Because they have hydrocolloids. Okay, so what do you mean by hydrocolloidal nature? That means when we put this algae inside the water, the size of the algae is going to be doubled. Clear? Next is the agar. It is a substance which is obtained from Gelidium and Gracilaria. These two are algae. So this agar is used for the microbial growth and as well as for the preparations of ice creams and jellies. And the last one is chlorella. It is a unicellular algae. It is very much rich in proteins, so it is used by the space travelers.